Reasons for our study. Come and see. John 1:46. I invite you to join me in examining the character of Jesus. Many of you have already learned about him from others, but let's take some time to study him again. We are living in a time of confusion and distraction. The world is searching for something, even though it doesn't know what exactly. We have gained wealth, but our hearts still feel empty. We have gained knowledge, but many of us feel lost and deceived. The world is filled with impressive inventions, but there is still a deep void that science and art cannot fill. Discontentment is a common theme in the 21st century. Some of us are dissatisfied with ourselves. We feel restless, unsatisfied, and confused. We are aware of our failures and believe we are not living up to our potential. Despite our efforts, life feels unfulfilling. Even with many possessions, we wonder, what is missing? It might be wise, then, to take a break from our current path and listen to what Jesus of Nazareth has to say. He might hold the secret we have been searching for. When we open the New Testament, the first person we encounter is Jesus, and the first words we hear are from him. He says, "Come to me, and I will give you rest. I am the bread of life, the light of the world. If anyone is thirsty, let them come to me and drink. I offer you my peace, power, and joy." Isn't bread, water, light, rest, peace, power, and joy what we need to feel complete? If this man promises to give us what our souls desire most, it is worth studying his teachings and understanding how we can obtain these gifts. When we approach him, we hear him say, "Follow me, learn from me, trust in me, stay connected to me." It seems that he offers us all these good things if we become like him. But what is he like? What is his personality and nature? Surely, those of us who are discontented with ourselves will want to study the character of Jesus. There are others among us who are discontented not just with ourselves, but with the world as well. The world is in a chaotic state, and we feel disheartened because no one seems wise or strong enough to fix it. Our government is corrupt, the church seems lifeless, our homes are failing or filled with scandals, society is shallow and corrupted, the social order is on the verge of collapse, the economic system is burdensome and harmful. The whole world seems to need a complete overhaul, but who is capable of such a monumental task? There are many people offering solutions, but they disagree with each other, and their remedies have proven to be ineffective. The medicines they propose are not powerful enough, and the experts stand by the suffering humanity, overwhelmed and discredited. Modern civilization has become a tower of confusion, with countless theories for social improvement and plans for economic reorganization. Even the most level-headed among us are bewildered by the noise and chaos, unsure of where to find deliverance. When we open the New Testament, we encounter a man who, though not a professional revolutionary, has caused many revolutions. He is not considered a radical because his radical ideas surpass them all. He challenges conventional norms, baffles the wise with what seems foolish, and confounds the powerful with what seems weak. He talks extensively about authority and power, asserting that he can make all things new. Historians admit that he brought down the Roman Empire and shaped Europe and America's civilization in unprecedented ways. If his ideas have the force of dynamite and his presence can change the course of empires and the hearts of people, perhaps this man is the very person the modern world is desperately searching for to liberate them from their miseries and sorrows. Certainly, all those who are dissatisfied with the current state of the world and long for a better future should come to Jesus of Nazareth to discover his secret for dismantling evil and establishing righteousness and peace on earth. When we study his methods, we realize that his primary focus is on transforming the hearts of individuals. This influencer of empires dedicates himself to shaping individual lives instead of building empires. He starts his revolutions within the souls of individuals. He chooses one person, instills a new spirit in them, and sends them to influence another person, who then goes on to influence a third person, and so on. Through this process, he forges a chain that can overthrow even a powerful ruler like Caesar. Surprisingly, he doesn't talk about the influence of genetics or the environment. Instead, he keeps his focus on the soul. By changing a person's character, he not only affects their surroundings, but also impacts future generations. When we think about the environment, we usually consider physical aspects, such as the streets, sewer systems, architecture, and lighting. We believe that improving these elements can greatly improve the lives of people. However, this revolutionary from Nazareth believes that environment is not about buildings, but about the thoughts and feelings of human beings. People are shaped by those around them, not by their physical surroundings. So if you want to change the environment, you must start by transforming individuals. By changing the character of one person, we can change the character of others. By changing the character of many people, we can ultimately change institutions, empires, and civilizations. When Jesus says, "Behold, I make all things new," he is referring to the transformation he brings to people's hearts. It is from the heart that both the demons that destroy humanity and the angels that restore peace and beauty emerge. This is Jesus' secret to transforming the world. He believes that by giving individuals a character like his own, he can bring about golden ages. His character possesses a power that surpasses the might of Caesar's legions or the wisdom of the most renowned scholars. Those of us who are dissatisfied with the world and eager to eradicate its injustices and abuses should invest our time in studying the character of Jesus. Through his character, the burdened world will move towards a brighter future. Many people are busy and vocal in their efforts to bring about change. They may have flashy and impressive plans to create a new world. However, the most effective way to contribute to the world's redemption is to persuade others, in both prominent and obscure positions, to live according to the example set by Jesus. No one progresses towards the golden age faster than someone who, through prayer and daily effort, seeks to develop in themselves the virtues and qualities of the man from Galilee. This is why the primary mission of Christian clergymen is to help people fall in love with the character of Jesus. The Bible is a valuable book, mainly because it contains a portrait of Jesus. The New Testament is even better than the Old Testament because it gives us a direct view of Jesus. The most sacred part of the New Testament is the Gospels because they allow us to look directly into the eyes of Jesus. Now let's focus on what aspect of Jesus is most worth studying. Many people dedicate their time to understanding the circumstances of his life. Some study the chronology and geography, while others are interested in his clothing and appearance. Photographers capture every landscape he ever saw, and painters recreate the fields, lakes, and skies of Palestine. Lecturers use slides to make the Holy Land familiar to everyone. Numerous writers describe customs, houses, fashions, and ceremonies. In the midst of this overload of details, we must not forget to truly understand the man Jesus. We might become so engrossed in the external aspects of his life that we miss the message he communicates through his heart. We waste time on the material trappings of his life that could be better spent earnestly studying his thoughts and feelings. Palestine is only interesting to us to the extent that it helps us understand who Jesus was and what he did. The temporal, local, and provincial aspects may be fascinating, but they are not crucial. It is the character of Jesus that is truly unique and timeless. It's surprising how little information we have about Jesus. The writers of the New Testament didn't focus on trivial details like his appearance, clothing, or living situation. They didn't elaborate on his family background or highlight any prestigious positions he held. Jesus was born in a stable, worked as a carpenter, taught for 3 years, and eventually died on a cross. The New Testament writers wanted us to focus on the essence of who Jesus was, his values, thoughts, and beliefs. They wanted us to understand his character. Let's accept their invitation to study Jesus and learn more about him. Some of us have been studying Jesus for a long time, but we still have a strong desire to continue learning about him. As we grow older, our perspective changes and our hearts become more open. Through study and experience, we gain deeper knowledge and reach higher levels of understanding. There will never be a time when we don't appreciate the opportunity to learn more about Jesus. He is the path to God, and we can never become too familiar with that path. He reflects the image of God the Father, so the more we study him, the better we can know the heart of God. Jesus has revealed the Father to us, and the more we understand him, the more we can comprehend the divine nature. If Jesus and the Father are one, then knowing Jesus is truly experiencing eternal life. If he is the foundation of our faith, we need to fully understand his character in order to run our race with endurance. Every moment we spend studying his character is a blessing, as it changes and beautifies our own hearts. The disciples who knew him well used to say, "We beheld his glory." They observed him as he worked, talked, sang, and prayed. The memory of what they saw elevated their lives to new heights. The most mature Christians are the most eager to accept the invitation to come and see Jesus. Some of us have only studied Jesus a little. We know his name, but he seems distant and unreal. His face is blurry in our minds, and we don't feel his power in our hearts. We aren't indifferent to him, but we lack a strong sense of loyalty and a deep adoration for him. We need to study him again, and perhaps as we do, he will become more real to us. We need to see him as a companion, because only then can we truly receive what he has to offer. When his face is clear to us, we no longer feel depressed or defeated in life's challenges. We can overcome anything when we are close enough to see the light in his eyes and feel the strength of his heart. For some of us, Jesus has become nothing more than a set of beliefs. But it's a great day when we see him as a real person for the first time. I'll never forget the moment when I saw Jesus as a human being during a Saturday evening sermon, where the preacher quoted Jesus crying out, "Father, save me from this hour." It touched my heart deeply. Some of us have barely studied Jesus at all. Everything we know about him is based on what we've heard from others. We may have been influenced by misrepresentations or our own biases. During this study, some of us may see Jesus for the first time as he truly is. For those who don't like complicated philosophical ideas, just look at Jesus, a complete and fully developed person. If you don't care about religious teachings, study his life. If you're not interested in doctrines, focus on his character. If the word revelation sounds mysterious or theological, contemplate the ultimate revelation, the revelation found in the character of a person. We won't discuss how the gospel portrait came to be. Let's just acknowledge that it exists. It has been around for 2,000 years, and nothing has been added or taken away from it during that time. If anyone wants to point out some small flaws in its creation, it's enough to say that the portrait serves its purpose. It strengthens people's faith in God and keeps their hope and happiness alive. People have different ideas and criticisms about the portrait, but I invite you to take a look at it. Many others are also examining it all over the world. Millions of people feel that this portrait reveals the most about the thoughts and plans of the eternal being. It's undeniable that this portrait brings many hearts closer to God. It might do the same for you if you just take a look at it. Other things may come and go, but this portrait is a constant reality. Many valuable things have been destroyed, but not this. In some places, the Bible has become less important and the church has declined, but the character of Jesus is becoming more significant to thoughtful people everywhere. By looking at it, you might also grow an appreciation of it. And I also ask you to pray while you look. How deeply you understand someone's mind or heart depends on what you bring to your contemplation of them. You can't fully appreciate a musician's masterpiece if you don't have music in you, or truly understand an artist's painting without having some understanding of the artist's temperament. Likewise, you can't understand a person's character unless you have a connection with them on a deep level. Masters of music, art, and life only reveal themselves to those who share their spirit to some extent. If you want to study the character of Jesus for maximum benefit, you must respond to what was most important in his life. He was a person of prayer above all else. He had a reverent heart and always looked upward. Those who pray breathe the same air he did and take the best approach to understanding his actions and words. When studying a person, spiritual harmony is key. James lived with Jesus, but didn't understand him. Paul lived far away, but understood him completely. Understanding someone's soul doesn't depend on physical proximity or intellectual effort. It all comes down to insight and spiritual empathy. When studying Jesus, people should always pray and not lose hope.